Hi, I'm Camilla. I'm a parenting coach. I'm 39 years old with a background in psychology, and I'm also a mom. So every week I come and share different videos to do with parenting, and this week is no different. So if you find this at all useful, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share with anyone that you think could benefit from this, and make sure you hit that little bell icon so that you make sure that you're getting notifications every week when I release my new videos. So today I'm here to share a tool with you that I use with a lot of my clients. So what I always do is I always ask my clients, like, where is the end goal for your child? Like, where would you like to see your child end up? Like basically, how would you like to see your child turn out? Like, what is your goal for like your parenting? So if you could see your child grow up into an adult, what would you like to see them be? Like, what kind of person? So the same kind of words come up time and time again. And it's usually things like happy. I'd like to see my child being happy, successful, in a loving relationship. I'd like to see them be loving and kind, balanced, resilient. These are words that come up time and time again. So then we take a step back. So we know how we want our child to end up, what kind of person we want them to be. Happy, fulfilled, resilient, successful, whatever the word might be for you. Like just take 10 seconds just to think about it, and then write that word down. And then what we do is we take a step back and we think about our everyday actions. Are our everyday actions working us towards that goal of where we'd like them to be? Because sometimes I think we get so caught up, and this is totally normal, so this is not some sort of reason to start, beating ourselves over the head with a stick. We've got that mother's guilt, and that's hard enough as it is. So I'm not trying to send you down some spiral where I'm like, oh my God, I've been, doing all this stuff or whatever. But my point is, we're sometimes so caught up in the everyday stuff. We're so busy worrying about getting our kid like to school, getting them in or out of the car, getting them in the bathtub, getting them to bed, getting them to do their homework, getting them to eat their vegetables, whatever it is. There's so much focus on getting the child to do something, almost like controlling the child into some sort of behavior, because we're so caught up in behaviors, actions, getting them to do something, because sometimes parenting is just overwhelming. And, I think a lot of parenting books, if you look around, a lot of parenting books are actually to do with how to be an effective parent and get your child to do what you want them to do. But we have to step back and have a little think about, is that actually beneficial for the child? Like, of course, it's coming from a place of love, and it's coming from a place of overwhelm, and we just want our everyday life to be easy. But sometimes we need to step back and think, well, okay, I have this goal in my mind. I'd really like my child, because I love them unconditionally, to be, let's say loving, or let's say happy or resilient, whatever the word is for you, right? So how are we working towards that? What steps are we taking every day to ensure that that is where they end up? Because if we're just taking everyday action of just plodding along without even thinking about it, and we're just so busy just trying to control the situation and manipulate them or control them into, whether it's with rewards or punishment or whatever it is, into getting them to do what we want them to do to make our lives easier. I'm not saying don't do this. I'm not saying that we don't need to also put ourselves in the equation and think about sometimes we just need them to get in the car, but there's something about, what are we spending most of our time on, Are we spending most of our time on getting them to do what we want because we want an easy life? Or are we actually putting in some work to get them to be where we want them to be later on? It takes little steps every day, right? Repetition. It's all about the repetition. So have a think. Sometimes it's really good to have that vision in your mind. It really helps you get through the day. When things are difficult, when you're stressed out beyond reason, have that focus in mind. Like when you're triggered and you're like, "Ugh," and you just want to like blow up, just take 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds even, take a deep breath and just think, hang on, is me shouting at them and letting loose and letting rip, is that going to help them become the kind of person I want them to be? Because a lot of the time, like I said, parenting is all to do with getting them to do what we want them to do, right? Getting them to listen to us, getting them to do what we want them to do, like our agenda. But if we have a child who's almost too good, almost behaves so perfectly, is so compliant, what are we sending out into the world as an adult? If they're constantly thinking about, I need to fit in and do what other people want me to, Are we creating a people pleaser? That's not what we want. We want a healthy balance. We want them to be able to get on with other people, but we also want them to have some backbone and feel their gut feeling, their own intuition, their own needs, and say, actually, no, or yes, please, or whatever it is for them at the time. They need to be able to feel themselves and know what's right for them. And they need to be able to say yes, thanks, or no, thanks, or whatever at the right times, because they know that's what's right for them. Not just bending over backwards, pleasing everyone else, not thinking about what do they actually want. So if you have a stubborn child, if you have a child that refuses or is defiant, that's a sign of health. It's on a spectrum, right? We don't want it too extreme. We don't want extreme compliance. We don't want extreme defiance. So we want somewhere in the middle. So have a think about, what are you doing to help your child become the person that you want them to be? And whenever you feel triggered, have that in mind, and it just helps you kind of settle back into, right, okay, I'm just going to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Anyway, I hope that's a useful tool for you. Lots of other parents have found it really, really useful. I know I find it useful sometimes when we're triggered, right? We all get triggered. We're all human beings. We're all imperfect human beings. But if this is at all useful, please feel free to like and subscribe, share with anyone else that you think is going through a tough time with the children and might just need to hear this. And I'll see you again next week.